You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
All right, that's the trailer for that piece of shit.
Jesus, was the trailer an hour and a half long, too?
I'm sorry. You know, the way that trailer ended was with Ben Stiller giving the shot in Robert De Niro's penis. And then the little kid walks in and he's screaming. That's basically how I felt watching this entire film, because it was truly that bad.
See, and I felt the other way. I felt emasculated.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing too with the trailer. Anyone that watches a trailer, I'll give you the title of the trailer. I have it right in front of me. It's called Little Fockers Trailer 2. If you watch that trailer first, then watch the movie, you will see just how fucking cut up this movie is. There have been so many reshoots for this, and there are so many scenes in the trailer that are not in the film. There are actually different takes in the trailer that are not in the film.
The different takes is not uncommon.
Well,
because what will happen is while they're filming the film, they will send film to them to make the trailers. A different company does the trailers.
Okay.
So they will send. That's why that does happen often, because they'll send different takes.
But usually, what you see in the trailer, for the most part, I'm saying for the most part. I'm not saying
but it does
scenes here and there. You always get that.
But it's not uncommon.
No, it's not. But I'm saying
actually, if you go back to, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm going to.
Okay. I know you are.
If you go back to Dusk Till Dawn, listen to the audio commentary. There's that one scene where the vampire, the female vampire, is George Clooney pinned to the floor.
Right.
And she says, welcome to slavery, and he says, no thanks, I've been married.
Right.
Right. In the audio commentary, Rodriguez and Tarantino, they're like, oh, we hated this line. It was a horrible line. We're filming it, and Clooney said, here, I got a great line, and he played it, and it's like, okay, we're not going to use that. That was crap. But then the trailer
it made it into the movie, though.
Right, and the trailer came out while they're still in post production, so they're still making the film technically.
Okay.
When the trailer comes out, and they see the trailer, said, "Oh my God, they used it in the trailer." And both of them, as longtime film fans, said, "I hate it when they do that with trailers. Now we have to leave it in."
Oh, okay.
And also because every trailer was built around that line.
Yes, it was.
So it's not uncommon to happen, because they'll ship out the scraps of the film to another company to make the trailer while they're still filming or still in post production.
Okay. All right. But
I'm not coming to the defense of the film.
No, I believe me. I know.
Just wanted to get that straight.
But specifically one of the scenes where he's carving the turkey and he cuts his finger or his thumb and blood shoots all over the room. Mm-hmm. Specifically, a lot of it hits his wife, but in the movie, it doesn't hit her at all. It hits Robert De Niro. So what I'm getting at is, they did one shot for the trailer, or they used one scene for the trailer where all the blood is hitting the wife and a little bit around for everyone else. But in the movie, they completely changed it, and it's just all Jack Burns getting all the blood.
Mm-hmm. Well, I noticed, too, there's a scene where he backs up the truck.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, with all the sand.
Yeah, the sand, yeah. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Is that the parking brake?
Right. It's red.
And then later on, he comes back to the house, like after the whole blow up at the hospital. Ben Stiller comes back to the house alone, and there's all this damage to the side of the house.
Okay. Yes, you're right.
Right, and it's okay, obviously they filmed a scene where the truck backed into the house, and they cut it.
I didn't. I didn't know. I didn't notice it.
There's tarps over it, and it's obvious that something damaged the house, and that damage was not there earlier in the film. See, these are the eagle eyes of a professional film watcher.
I never noticed it.
Well, take some notes, sir, and you go back and
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, it is obvious when you watch this film that there's all this stuff where they added this later, you can tell, and there's definitely chunks of this film missing.
Oh, absolutely. You could absolutely tell that Owen Wilson did not come into this film until after it was finished. They did lots of reshoots. They did a lot of additional shoots to get him in there. Dustin Hoffman and Barbara Streisand's character as well. There's another scene in the trailer where Dustin Hoffman is kissing Robert De Niro on the face in the hospital bed, which is not in the movie. And I'm sure that'll make the special edition DVD, all the bonus cut stuff. But
actually, I rented the Red Box.
Oh, you did?
And oddly enough, there was this humorous incident when I'm at the Red Box trying to get my reserved film, which, by the way, I didn't take it back today, so now I owe an extra $1 on this piece of shit. Thank you very much, sir.
I'm sorry. Not really. You know what? I'm not sorry. I'm going to stop saying I'm sorry to things like that.
Because it's disingenuous, and it's.
I don't mean it.
It cost me now. It now costs me $2.08, 12 cents. Tax. Don't forget tax.
Don't forget the tax.
To watch this goddamn film. And I'm there, and I'm waiting for the thing to come through, and there's this lady next to me. I'm trying to think of a word to describe her. Hag.
Let me guess. She loved it.
Hag next to me. Flesh wilting on her bones. She's like 2 cartons of cigarettes away from the next 2 cartons of cigarettes, and she's advising the younger hag to be next to her on what film to rent.
Okay.
And they're going over this, and she's like, "Oh, well, if you want funny, that was funny, and that was funny. You want to rent one of those. If you want funny, that's funny." And the 2 pictures she pointed at was Little Fockers. And the
Not
dilemma.
Surprised. Oh wow.
And the urge to just elbow her and tell the younger woman to run and save herself, it was overwhelming.
But you didn't do it.
No, because the hag would have taken me.
She would have taken you down?
She would have been all over me. I'm sure I'm not the first big guy that's tried to elbow her in the face.
Probably not.
She had the looks of her that she's been in quite a few ballroom brawls.
You know what I found interesting in the film too? Just how much they decided to not use the wife in this one.
Because she's not looking. I mean, I hate to sound this way.
Okay.
Why did you think of that? Because I said hag.
The wife?
Yeah.
No. I'm just running the film through my head and how cut up.
Well, that's my job, isn't it?
No.
No.
Just how cut up it is, because I had noticed a lot during the film at just how cut up it is, and there's this school that they want to. Well, okay. Let's preface with what the plot really is about.
What? Let me walk through. First, I have a little preamble here.
Okay.
A little setup.
I love those.
My former employer of 15 years.
Oh boy.
Why do you say that, sir?
I don't know where.
In the entire 15 years I worked for this man. He only ever resorted to 3 movie quotes. There's only 3 films that I would ever hear him reference.
Okay.
And it was always 3 distinct lines. One was, could I have my stapler?
Okay.
and that never gets old.
Nah, it never does.
And that's from Office Space.
Yes, it is.
The other one was Scott! From Austin Powers. You can guess why I heard that one a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine you did.
And the third one, of course, was Focker.
Okay.
Focker. Gaylord Focker.
Gaylord Focker.
So, I mean, and just to give you an idea of the mentality of the person who would have a business for 15 years without having anything saved up to cover the business in case of, some kind of economic collapse.
Oh, my God.
The mentality of this person was such that there were only 3 films that
he would quote.
That permeated his brain on such a level that he could comprehend the humor and cling to it.
I know one of his quotes is Little Fockers, but Where are you going?
No, the first Fokker was the first one. You got that from the first one.
Well, that's what I meant. Yes.
I'm going with that. This is the kind of film where your base level of intelligent humor does not arise above.
So the cream isn't going to the top, is what you're saying?
Well, no, the scum also rises.
I see.
But yeah, so this is the kind of film where bodily humor and just funny names. For instance, in the film, there's this humorous moment when Robert De Niro calls Ben Stiller up and tells him that he wants him to be the heir to the family. The
Godfucker. Because Dr. Bob had an affair.
Right.
With his daughter, which that actress, unfortunately, is dead.
Oh, is she?
Yes, she... real quick, she got... I
I
believe it was an infection of some kind, and it was misdiagnosed.
By Dr. Bob. They're going to play that into the film. Yeah, but the Godfucker...
Godfucker.
In the course of 1 minute, they just repeat the Godfucker over and over again. Godfucker, Godfucker. I'm the Godfucker.
What's so funny, Focker?
Godfucker. There's a Godfucker. And the fact that they repeated it like 7 or 8 times in 1 minute, this is the level, because the average intelligence of someone who enjoys this film, after the first 30 seconds, they're going to forget they heard that.
Yeah, it's kind of like those stupid radio commercials where they say the phone number 12 times at the end.
No. This is even worse, because we're not looking for memory retention. We're looking for just some kind of base guttural instinct where there's no memory, there's no short-term or long-term memory, but just that sound will trigger a response.
I see.
And this whole film, I mean, well, first of all, I was at a loss because I've never seen the second one.
Yeah, and you don't need to.
No, I don't. But at the beginning of this one, I'm thinking, okay, I've obviously missed so much between 1 and 3. I wonder if I can keep up with the plot. But since the fact that the bulk of the film was really just a rehash of the plot from the first film, makes it so much easier. I mean, I don't know if the second film was like that. Have you seen the second film?
Yeah, I've seen the second film.
Is the second film just a rehash of the first one?
In some ways, although Dustin Hoffman's character and Barbra Streisand's character are leading roles, whereas in this, they were just thrown in. I think their screen time, both, if you collected both screen times and added them, you're looking at less than 5 minutes in the whole movie.
Which, ironically, is almost the same amount of screen time the kids have.
Yeah.
This film is called The Little Fockers, but I have a feeling they're talking about the audience. Because the 2 children have maybe 10 minutes tops on screen.
If that.
And the kids, at first I wanted to say that these are really obnoxious, unlikable children, but you don't get that much time to hate them.
And you know what? The only reason why it's called Little Fockers is because they basically are saying little fuckers. Every time they say Fokker...
Is that what that's supposed to be a play on?
Oh, yeah, dude. You didn't know that? For anyone out there that may not be in the know, Fokker equals fucker. And they use it as many times as they can because they know it triggers something in everyone's brain that say fucker.
You're the Godfucker.
You're the Godfucker.
You're the Godfucker.
Godfucker.
Oh, I mean, now, also, maybe when you're watching this film, I mean, now the first 10 minutes of the movie,
right?
We've got Viagra jokes.
Yes.
With Sustangro.
Sustango.
Because male impotence is funny.
It's hilarious.
And penis jokes, separate of the boner jokes. Then we have anal humor as we have a romantic insertion of an enema tube.
Yeah, they were really hitting. Oh, well, that character is played by Jessica Alba. And her name is Andy Garcia. Isn't that hilarious?
And I'm thinking, they're going to run with this, aren't they?
Yo, and they do.
And when Robert De Niro Googles her name and all these pictures of Andy Garcia come up, for a minute there, I thought they're going to have an angle where he thought he was actually cheating on his wife with Andy Garcia.
And you know what? We haven't seen any cut footage yet. So
I guarantee you that they approached Andy Garcia for a cameo.
Oh, and he said, "What the? No."
And probably backed. Is he still alive? No, I'm thinking of the other guy. Andy Garcia's alive.
Yes, he is.
Yes, and honestly, when I heard Andy Garcia's name, I'm like, great, I'll use him for a movie challenge. But unfortunately, Andy Garcia seems to make nothing but good movies.
The only problem I have with Andy Garcia is he's Andy Garcia in every movie.
I have no problem with that because I like Andy Garcia.
Well, I like him too, but much in the same way that Morgan Freeman is Morgan Freeman in every film, Andy Garcia is Andy Garcia in every film as well. And there's a few actors that are like that as well. But
most stars remain themselves in all these films. You want to talk about a movie where the actors are the characters: Ben Stiller, Robert De Niro, Owen
Andy
Wilson,
Garcia.
Andy Garcia, Jessica Alba, breaking character and playing a hot chick. Which you don't see her do often, so it's great to see her extend
She's
that.
Playing an immature, hasn't really gone past high school attitude hot chick.
Right, which also I was probably gearing towards the audience.
Right.
So then you've got all those jokes in the first 10 minutes, and then of course there's some vomit humor.
There's a little vomit humor.
He drives a Prius because that's we haven't gotten off of making fun of Priuses yet because it sounds funny and you know if it's not a Humvee you're a fag.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty much what it comes up to.
Sucking the cock.
That's right. You know what's even funnier than making fun of him because he's in a Prius?
What's that?
You know the film's hit a low point, and we're talking about a film that has your basic I Love Lucy sitcom setups. Where literally it's like, gee, what? We can't finish filling this hole till we move that truck. I know, I'll move the truck, Ricky, and and just
right. And they had to throw Harvey Keitel in there because he was in Taxi Driver with De Niro, and of course they had to square off in some way. That was written in there specifically because they were both in Taxi Driver.
Honestly, I just think that Harvey needed the money, and he was nearby. I was hoping Harvey had played a bigger role in the film.
I was hoping that he would do the same full frontal scene from Bad Lieutenant.
Wait till you see the outtakes. I'm surprised Robert De Niro didn't say, "Are you talking to me?" to Keitel. Now, see, again, if this was made by people who had any sense of like humor beyond like, oh gee, his mother talks about sex. They're musical condoms. Now the musical condoms. Now mentioning that, even I'm thinking, okay, maybe they'll play that in like Edward Blake with Skin Deep, and we'll have like a scene later on with the music. That's too clever.
Right. Yeah, but John Ritter's dead.
And that's the day the music died. But I'm saying, but that's too clever. The idea, like having Robert De Niro find those condoms, right? And then having to see with Ben Stiller and his wife in bed, and he just hear the music, and get louder and louder and louder, like in like a still shot. That's too clever.
And you know what? I bet it scared them too. That maybe we. You know what? I don't want to give them too much credit that they even thought about doing a scene like that, but it's possible. And then they said, "Well, we might not get that PG-13, and we need that."
No, something like that. Something like that. He stabbed him in the cock with a needle, and then his kid drew a picture of it. You're going to get a PG-13 because it's these guys, and they're saying Focker every 15 minutes. Anyway,
right?
But no. The point is, the musical condom scene would have been too clever for the audience that would laugh at this movie.
Oh yeah, it's the wrong audience.
Right, but
completely.
But I got sidetracked. But even with this kind of humor,
right?
With the kind of setup of he left the Viagra in the closet and Robert De Niro found it. I wonder what might happen.
Oh, and his wife is talking about role playing in probably the most unsexiest way I've ever seen, ever. Where she's just...
I've seen unsexier.
You've seen unsexier than that?
Well, I mean, not on screen, but...
Okay. Well, I mean, she's just like, ooh, yeah, let's role play, come on. And then she's making these faces at the camera. Completely unsexy. You
know what? There were two... I did laugh at 2 points of the film.
Okay.
And I've forgotten what they were. because they really weren't supposed to be big laughs.
Right.
But I liked them. Anyway, but
should have wrote it down.
For a film, yeah, fuck that. I was too agog.
Okay.
For a film that has that kind of basic setup humor. When they come to the part where they're touring the school, or De Niro and Stiller are touring the school.
That's where I was actually going before with the wife.
Then let me go.
I was just going to point out.
No. Let me finish. Then
all
we'll
right.
Let me finish. Then we'll backtrack. Because I spent too long getting to this point. God damn it.
Okay.
When they get to the school and the chick from Jurassic Park.
Oh, Laura Dern.
Yeah, when she mistakes them for a gay couple.
Right.
And it's like that slow, oh, they don't get it yet. She thinks they're gay. And then the kind of denials at the end. The lead up to that joke and the delivery of that joke take up more screen time than should have been permitted.
Okay.
And it didn't take that long.
I agree.
And that's where you realize this is not going to end.
It's just going to keep going. You got another 40 minutes.
Yeah, this is going to not... This is going to hurt. Now, you're mentioning about the wife.
Well, I was just going to say it was very convenient for them to make her get the flu or the cold so that she would completely be out of the scenes where they're going to what was the school called? The Human Child?
The young human or the starting human?
The something like that. The human something.
It was so unfunny. It wasn't even that catchy.
No, exactly.
I did write in my notes that where's my notes? I did write down about that specifically. Is that didn't making fun of gifted preschools get old with Frasier?
Yeah.
I mean, this is like such 80s 90s comedy. Oh, it's a school for gifted youngsters, and they're all so weird here because it's advanced and smart kids, and my kid's so stupid. Like, wow, are you guys gay?
Yeah, because obviously you're the only ones that could possibly even afford this school.
Even though you're old enough to be his father, this couldn't be,
Yeah, right, exactly. So they conveniently made her sick so that she wouldn't be in any of those scenes for the school.
Well, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to point out that because of that, Ben Stiller's character and Robert De Niro's character end up at this school for the whole orientation and all of the testing and all of that stuff. And the wife is completely underused in the whole film as well.
I have two theories for that.
Okay, let's hear them.
One is because your comedy gold is getting De Niro and Stiller together.
Okay.
And two, with no ill... I hate to sound misogynist here. She's not aging well.
I don't know how old she is either.
She's not aging well. And she hasn't been getting... She doesn't have any work done. That looks like she doesn't have any work done.
And I respect her for that.
And I do too. But that makes her poison to the screen because she's the one female without any work done. So she doesn't have that plastic, pretty look.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You can't sell My Beautiful Wife on a Hollywood screen where all the other women in the film have work done.
Right. No, I agree. And then there are a lot of scenes in the film where if you notice, you can tell that they were filmed afterwards, and a lot of the scenes, the actors in the scenes are not in the same room when they were filmed.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, there's one scene in the movie where Owen Wilson, he comes in into town, and it's De Niro and Ben Stiller, and their heads are so far in on the screen that it's all blurry. Mm-hmm. And in the distance, you see the daughter and the wife. A classic case of they're superimposed because they're all blurry.
Right. And
the other side of that has been filmed at a different time. And you can tell these things that it's just not fitting right.
There's quite a few scenes where the frame is off.
Yeah.
Where the shot's too wide,
mm-hmm.
and like they're cutting back and forth on a scene where there's really no reason to cut back and forth. You could just put them in the same shot, but instead we're doing this kind of 180.
Right.
And yeah, you can really tell there's a lot of stuff where they went back and they reshot and they fixed stuff in post, and maybe even changed entire scenes. Yeah, you can tell.
Right.
I also want to go back. The wife.
Yeah.
Is it just me? And I'm thinking back now because I wasn't paying attention to this, but more we talk, they had her dressed like kind of frumpy.
Frumpy?
Yeah. She wore in a suit in the hospital, and they had her in bed under all the blankets.
Well, I will say this. I just pulled up her IMDb profile. She's 42 years old.
Right, which nothing wrong with that.
No. She's not, but...
Some of my best friends are 42 years old.
There you go. I think for 42 years old, she looks pretty good.
No, I do too, but I'm saying the Hollywood ideal, I guarantee
of course.
She might have gained a little weight, which is like again, I'm sure she's great, but for the Hollywood ideal, I think she was not what they wanted, and so they hit her. They hit her under clothing, they hit her out of scenes, they hit her behind the plot.
Yeah, no, that sounds...
When you got Barbra Streisand throwing her fucking cleavage around.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's yeah. So she did not fit a Hollywood ideal, but they had to use her because she's part of the movie.
Of course.
And I'm sure they tried to figure out a way to write her out. They practically did.
I think they kind of had to keep her in there, but you're right.
Yeah.
Her screen time is maybe half an hour, if that.
Right. I mean, yeah. You mentioned the squirting blood too. That was another one. Oh, they're really going that way with this.
Oh, of course.
Oh, the little Monty Python squirting the blood.
Well, you when you see it in the trailer, you say the same. It's like, really? That's what they're going for? Or when he gets the phone call from Jack Burns, is we'll be there in approximately 12 seconds. It's like, okay.
Oh, yeah, because that was. I mean, and
he's on time.
And the premise of the film, the same as the first one, is also this simpering idiot's bizarre need to impress his father-in-law.
Yes.
And like, so I have to watch this film,
which is this same shit they've been pulling from the first film.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I have to watch 2/3 of this film, watch him get the balls to tell his the grandfather-in-law to leave him alone.
Right.
It's. I mean, and I didn't hate the first film.
No, I didn't hate it either. It was all right.
My problem with the first film was always that I felt it was so mean-spirited. Like, I don't want to get into it because this is not the film we're reviewing.
Right.
Too much, but like the stuff that happens to Ben Stiller in that film, it's supposed to be funny, but everybody, like, there's the whole family there and they all gang up on him. And after a while, I'm like cringing. Every time it's like you got like 5 or 6 family members and they're all just relentlessly piling on Ben Stiller.
And then when they find out his name is Gaylord, they just lay into him.
Yeah. But I mean, but it goes beyond humor towards like, dude, would you just stab one of these guys with a fork?
Right.
How come you? I mean, just when you hit a certain point where it's okay, you're now, you know, like a spousal abuse,
right?
Where some people like you get the wife to the point where she's so beaten, but then like when the cops come, she defends them.
Right.
It's that kind of uncomfortable thing where you start hating the victim because they're not doing something. It's not right, but it's like you just get this, like Ben Stiller's character. You like he's still the victim, but at a certain point you can't feel for him anymore because, dude, just punch somebody.
I got you.
Just do something, you know.
Right. And Owen Wilson, when he if you really pay attention, there are scenes where he has longer hair. Mm-hmm. I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this in the last episode.
Yes, you did.
You can completely tell he's got like much longer hair in some scenes than others. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show just how much reshooting they did, how much. Did
I mention the wacky Negro?
Oh, what, in the beginning of the film?
In the middle, the black nurse.
Yes.
It's like
he's a stand-up comedian. I forget what his name is, but he's one of the most popular stand-up comedians there is right now.
But they have a wacky Negro in the film.
Yes.
Which is not a derogatory term because I'm talking about a cinematic technique, which is you fill the screen with white people, and then the one black person has to be wacky.
Yeah, I think it's also called the token black guy.
Token black guy, but he's also the wacky Negro as well. So it's both ways, and it's just even when that happens too, it's like, all right, this is gonna be the only black person we see from now on. And you know, another problem I have with this film.
Oh, please.
You know where I'm going with this because I've had this argument before. It's another film about rich people's problems.
Ben Stiller.
All right, no bullshit. I call bullshit on that. I know what you're gonna say.
Oh yeah, because he said I'm actually making less money than when I was nursing.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I'm making less money now than when I was nursing. Right, you're wearing a suit to work.
Right.
Right. You bought a new house
that you're having renovated.
Yes.
While renting another place.
While renting, you have another house being renovated while you're renting, and you have 2 kids, and his wife stay at home, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck you. You're rich. And when I say rich, you're upper middle class or you're upper class. You work in the city. You're wearing a suit. You can afford to buy a new house. You're not mortgaged to the hilt.
Hell, a hybrid car is like $25,000 right there.
That was a brand new Prius too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not driving a 10-year-old car. He's not. I mean, so another rich people's problems fucking film.
And he's being approached by Jessica Alba, who wants him to do seminars and speeches for what was the drug called again?
Sustango.
Sustango, which she's saying he can...
Because Viagra was funny 10, 15 years ago.
That he can make tons and tons of money doing speeches, which, you know what? Yeah, he's got no money problems.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know the last time Viagra was funny in a film? 40-Year-Old Virgin, when he didn't take it and he called the hotline. That's the last time Viagra was remotely funny in any kind of movie. That just tells you.
What about Road Trip?
That's before that.
That's before 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. The last time. I gotcha. Sorry about that.
That's the last time. That's the most recent time.
That movie's what, 4 years old now?
Yeah, at least. I have no concept of time, so I can't tell. But so we're going to Viagra jokes off the bat. But so yeah, it's another rich people's problems film, and I have no. Again, he's looking to put the kid in like this top of the line school.
Oh yeah, and you know that shit ain't cheap.
Yeah, and instead of like being like, oh, I could never send my kid here, it's like, oh well, I don't know if I can afford this. That means you can afford it. You just have to stop. Buying jewelry or something. It's bullshit. And this leads me to my taking out the trash on this film.
Ah, okay. Let's hear it.
You don't have a setup for this yet.
I don't have music. I said that. I do have...
I can save this film.
I do have the trash heap has spoken, but that's when we're done.
No. All right, I can take the trash out of this film. I can save this movie.
Okay. I have a little something that I would change. I mean, there's a lot I would change, but there's one thing to how I would end the film.
Oh, after you, sir, then.
Oh, basically, Jessica Alba is a super hot piece of ass, okay? And he's trying to escape the burn.
In the film.
Yeah.
In the film, she's a hot piece of ass.
She always is. You don't like Jessica Alba?
No, she's kind of getting typecast. You're right. Okay.
Anyway, throughout the entire film, you see it coming from the very first time that they meet that she wants to fuck him. Okay? All the way to the end of the film where that doesn't pan out in her favor. Well, what I would change for the RX girl, which is on her license plate, is he does fuck her. And he decides, you know what? Fuck Jack Burns. Fuck the wife. Fuck the kids. I'm going to Maui. He gets on the plane, flies off, gets a divorce, gives half to the wife and kids, pays his alimony, end credits. That's what I would change. I would take everything else out, and it would just be about him getting a divorce and getting away from the Jack Burns clan.
The last scene is him and Dr. Bob toasting each other on a beach.
There you go.
Clicking margarita glasses as the sun sets.
That's the trash I would take out of this film.
It's funny too because the minute, like you're saying, the minute you see Jessica Alba, it's like, okay, so how long do we have to wait until Robert De Niro sees them doing what he thinks is like having sex?
Right.
Oh.
And not for anything, when he catches them, there's no way. I don't care if you stick your two fingers on anybody's jugular. There's no way you're convincing me that you didn't fuck her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They bring that wheeze back too. Oh, I can.
Oh, your jugular artery, the palpitations or whatever, didn't go up. You were telling the truth. Fuck you.
I mean, it should have been to the point. I was like, I don't have to prove anything to you, old man.
Exactly.
I mean, and like when you first meet De Niro's character in the film,
right?
In that first 3 minutes that he's on screen, he sets up the entire plot with, "Oh, Dr. Bob cheated on his wife. I hope I hope Fockers now my only hope here." And oh, gee, my chest hurts. It's like, okay, well, when one of these two going to cross paths?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, but anyway, that's a good point. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. Fuck that shit.
Another way would have been it.
Get out.
Another way would have been if the ending was at Robert De Niro's funeral. And they all blame him for his death because he had a heart attack while they were fighting.
Okay.
So the wife divorces him.
And then he ends up with Jessica Alba.
No. Then Jessica Alba rejects him because suddenly he's not so attractive anymore now that he's not married.
Oh, yeah. Because a married man usually tends to be more attractive.
And his wife will want him to see the kids. And the last shot of him is wrapping his lips around a shotgun in that old house. Harvey Keitel squatting in the bathroom, on the second floor.
No. You know what you do? That giant pit that they were digging in the back.
Oh, he
blows his head off and he falls in that pit.
And They fill it in the next day without even noticing.
Or he blows his head off, falls in the pit, and from the blast and the blowback, he actually hits the lever on the truck of sand, and it just buries him right there.
Yeah. And nobody's the wiser.
Nobody's the wiser. So is that your word?
No.
Oh, no, you got more?
Mine is almost kind of a serious way here.
Okay, let's hear it.
I can fix this whole film in one broad stroke.
Let's do it.
Remove the rich people's problem premise.
Okay.
And bring everybody down to the lower class.
Okay.
All right. Suddenly,
I mean, it is in Chicago, so there are areas that they could film that in to represent that. So now he's still a nurse, but he's a real nurse where he's making it barely enough to survive. Okay.
His wife's a stay-at-home wife with his 2 kids, and she's bitter and angry at him because he's only a nurse. So you've got the emasculation on that side of the thing.
And from the first film, you found out in the first film that he aced his MCATs, so he could be a doctor.
Right. So that's hanging over his head. So he's a failure in that sense.
Okay.
His kids don't like him. His wife's kind of bitter about we're living in this apartment. We should be living in a house. Then you've got, and his parents should just be like living in the village. I mean, in Manhattan.
Right.
In that village, and so they're just like
New York City.
Yeah, but they're the hippies that they are in the last film and this film, except they're destitute hippies and they're barely scratching by. They're retired. They're living off their Social Security, but they're still they're doing pot and they're still, and the mother's a sex fiend, and all that stuff. But except they're not making millions of dollars doing it.
Gotcha.
Dustin Hoffman's not flying to Spain to learn the
flamingo.
The flamenco. Instead, he walks in the traffic in his underwear and starts dancing. On Houston Ave. Houston Ave, sorry.
Houston Ave.
Houston Ave, yeah, because it's not Houston.
No.
It's spelled the exact same fucking way. Anyway, speaking of rich people's problems. And then you take De Niro's character, bring him down. He's just a bitter Vietnam veteran who wants his daughter to have a better life than he did. But this stupid nurse is like dragging her away from whatever bright future she had before she pumped out 2 kids. And so he's constantly laying on De Niro. That fight scene during the kid party,
right, which is at Owen Wilson's house,
right, and Owen Wilson's character should be still be that shining light of he's more successful than everybody, but you don't have to be jet setting with Deepak Chopra across the world. You just have him where he owns a new car. he actually owns a house, and it could be this guy, Owen Wilson. It's just, he's not the best. He's just better than you.
That's right.
When you're struggling to make ends meet, and you're a middle-aged nurse, and you've got 2 kids and a wife, and you can't even provide for them. It's the guy that owns a new car and a new house. He's the apex you cannot surpass.
Sounds good to me.
And that fight scene at the end during the kids' party.
Right.
The reason I thought of this was because, you know what movie that reminded me of?
What's that? Last
Exit to Brooklyn.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Excellent film. Not a happy movie.
Not happy.
And at the end of the film, is this old bitter father and the kid, but they're like lower class. And at the end, during the wedding, where his baby's there because, it's that kind of wedding, and the father and son-in-law get in a fist fight during the wedding and knock over the crib.
Oh.
And it's that kind of, just like this, you're low-class scum. You're actually fist fighting at their own wedding, and, the guy's already got a kid from her.
Oh, and it's it sounds horrible. Not the movie sounds bad, but the scenario sounds horrible.
So when you take the scenario of if it's a lower class family,
mm-hmm.
and you're at a social a family gathering, and the son-in-law and the father-in-law get in a fist fight, it's like this, it's just like low thing. It's just like this gritty thing. But when it's these 2 clowns surrounded by slip and slides and ball pits, suddenly it's funny.
Right, and especially when he's telling everyone, "Get out of the pit!" When they do the whole Jaws scene.
The Jaws reference.
Yeah.
That never gets old.
Never.
It never gets old. So that's how I would fix this film. You bring it down to the lower class. You inject reality into the fucking thing. And instead of trying to get the kids into this into this wonderful advanced preschool where 99% of them go on to become like world leaders. It could be, yeah, we need to get the kids in a private school because they keep getting robbed at the public school.
Okay, I follow you.
I hate to bring the real world into this, but again, when we're in a recession and people can't even get jobs, and right-wing psychotics are talking about like stopping funding to FEMA and education, and then I'm watching this movie where the big thing is, oh gee, my rich father-in-law doesn't approve of me, and now we're having this gigantic party at my rich friend's house. I was like, fuck you.
Right, who he's completely good friends with until he starts hitting on his wife.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I got her face tattooed on my back. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, actually, it was a tattoo. It was he gave her a picture of his mother or something like that.
It's not even worth getting into, Joey.
No, it's really not. All right, so here's
this whole movie is a slap in the face.
Yeah.
To the general movie going audience, and by just injecting a little, it could still be a comedy, but it could also have reality in it,
Sure.
and could have more of a message than just let's watch Ben Stiller run around with short shirt sleeves so we can see his fucking biceps again.
All right. So is that your trash segment?
I'm spent. Yeah, I'm sorry.
The trash heap has spoken.
There you go.
Yeah, but see what you do to me?
I'm sorry.
I mean,
hey.
you sit through something like this, and it's like, okay, and where's the real film? And what was the budget on this?
The
tell
budget?
Me now. Yeah, tell me now, you son of a bitch.
I'll find out right now for
What's
you.
the budget on this piece of shit?
Oh, hold please.
I'm trying to cleanse my soul here.
That was a little more entertaining than the film. I'll tell you that.
She should have had gargling in the movie.
Little Fockers cost $100 million.
Oh, fuck.
It made $148 million. And that was here. And in the foreign market, it made 162 for a total of 310 million. Expect more movies.
That made 160 million overseas. You know what that means? That the rest of the world watches this film and is like, oh, that's what Americans are like.
Yeah.
I know we have listeners in other countries because we see the download thing, so you're not hiding from us. Mm-hmm. We're not like that. We are nothing like that.
Although I will say the second film in America made 280 million, 237 were foreign for 516 million worldwide. So it is, and it cost 80 million. So it is a huge drop off from the second film, but it's enough of a profit for them to keep making them.
It's painful.
What did the first one do? Actually, the first film cost 55 and made 166 domestically, 164 foreign, 330. So think of it this way: all three films have made over $1 billion.
That's $1 billion worth of idiocy right there.
Yeah, that's $1 billion that could have been used for something good like science.
I mean, no, you could have
stem
just
cell research.
You could have just blown the money on like drugs, and I'd still be for it.
Hookers.
Hookers and beer. That the $1 billion of hookers and beer.
Pizza, hookers, and beer
is more of a benefit to humanity than this complete travesty that's void of any semblance of a soul or not every film has to be serious, but
right.
this film is just literally everything that's wrong with the country as a whole.
I agree.
Everything from the film being made to the slipshod production value of it, which just shows they were just slapping shit and throwing whatever against the screen that could work and test screening the hell out of it. Because I guarantee you half the stuff that was taken out of it was because of test screening.
Right.
It's like, oh, we didn't think it was funny when he hit the house with the truck. I would put good money on that.
Yeah.
I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'm just ranting now.
Yeah? Can we take a break then?
Oh, motherfuck!
I'm sorry. All right.
I almost wish I'd watched Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black.
Really?
Because at least that's a fantasy, and I know Jack Black sucks.
Right.
But again, watching him tool around in a Prius in a three-piece suit and like going to bars with Jessica Alba, and I was like, oh, I make less money than I did as a nurse. Bullshit, you fucking liar. How much did you make at unemployment? No, that's right, because everything in this world works out.
Yeah, it works out great for you.
Oh, except
right.
for Dr. Bob's dead wife.
So, are you going to read from the terrible game when we get back from break?
Yeah, but to be short, because I'm not in a good mood now.
Okay. All right. So we'll take a break. When we come back, you'll read from the terrible game.
Yeah.
And we will get your movie challenge to me.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about that.
All right. We'll be right back.